I learned about the No Mow May movement last year, and at first I really loved the idea. It's basically just encouraging folks to skip the lawnmower for a month and enjoy the wildflowers that pop up in their lawn, helping to provide some early season food to pollinators like bees and butterflies. I was super gung-ho about it, but then I started reading and researching and discovered that for many of us with grass lawns, No Mow may not actually be all that effective for improving our local ecosystem. In this video, I'm going to talk about why that is and share why we are choosing a year-round low mow philosophy instead. Stick around. So the first big thing to know about No Mow May is that it was started in the United Kingdom, where May is really the first big moment for pollinators to come out of hibernation and for wildflowers to start blooming. Early blooming native flowers can be hugely important. Early in the season, there isn't much flowering food to go around, so amping up the supply can be like, to quote one pollinator activist, offering, quote, little cheeseburgers for our pollinators. And they're able to get some cheap calories and put on some weight that'll give them a leg up for the season. In most of the US, however, May is too late to make that impact. I'm in Houston, Texas, for example, and the butterflies and first spring flowers really start going off as early as February. So if there were going to be a time to support pollinators early in the season, May isn't really it. Some people over here in the US have started adjusting this timing to No Mow April or an even broader No Mow spring, and that's definitely better. But here's something to consider. If you have a monoculture lawn of typical turf grass, does not mowing it and letting it get really, really long do much for the ecosystem at all? The grasses that most of our lawns are covered with are basically just ecosystem garbage. They don't provide meaningful habitat or food to insects or other wildlife, and they can be water and pesticide intensive. By not mowing for a month, particularly a hot and often wet month like May in many parts of the US, we are pretty much just allowing the grass to get really tall and take up more space, potentially even shading out more beneficial species that might be trying to grow amongst all that really tall grass. Tall invasive grass is not good for anyone, you, the pollinators, or your lawnmower when you do eventually mow again. What may be more effective, at least for those of us with grass lawns, is a low mow strategy. Periodically mowing your lawn to keep the grass in check, but allowing time for other plants to emerge. Over time, your lawn will naturally become more diverse and less grass-centric, and therefore better for the ecosystem. There are scientific studies out there that show this to be true. Less frequently mowed lawns significantly increase the species richness of butterflies, bees, and other insects. And I'll link to some of those studies down below. Over here at the Weirder Futures house, we've had a low mow strategy for the past couple of years. When we first moved in, both the front and back lawns were pretty much pristine St. Augustine grass. It looked quote unquote nice, but it was really boring, both for us to look at and for pollinators looking for food sources. The previous owners were mowing pretty much every week, and this aggressive schedule didn't give other plants any time to establish and grow in. So when we took over, we tried to be as lazy as possible in terms of mowing, while still avoiding HOA and city citations. In the winter, this might mean we only mow once a month or even less. In the summer, we try to go 2 to 3 weeks between mows. The result? Our yard started filling in with flowering plants that have brought all the pollinators to our yard. We've seen an exponential increase in the number of native bees, moths, and butterflies flitting around the previously lifeless grass. Full disclosure, low mowing is not the only thing we've done to increase diversity in our yard. We've also intentionally brought in tons of native plants and seeds, both perennials and things that reseed and pop up again year after year. This upcoming year, we're planning to really lean into the early blooming wildflowers, both because I want all the flowers all the time, and because I love the idea of gifting tons of little cheeseburgers to those early pollinators. We have another video that's more specifically about how we're increasing the wildflowers in our yard. You can find that here. Eventually, we'd like for our yard to be totally invasive grass-free, but ripping it up or killing it all in one go is super labor intensive. So for now, we're content with making progress slowly over time. And part of our strategy is a year-round low mow philosophy that allows the yard to slowly diversify. No Mow May is just not enough. A quick word of caution though, Not everything that pops up amongst your grass is beneficial to the ecosystem. You'll likely have a mix of both invasive and native species making appearances. Our general take is that invasive stuff should be removed to make room for the native species that more effectively support the ecosystem. That said, there are a few things that we've more or less just allowed to be because pollinators seem to like them, and removing it all is just like more trouble than it's worth. So an example is this European field madder plant. Definitely not native, but we have tons of it and it's frequented by bees and moths. So we'd love to hear from you. Have you tried some variation on low mow or no mow? What's working in terms of increasing biodiversity and pollinator food sources in your little pocket of the world? Leave your ideas and suggestions in the comments below, and keep up the good work making the world a little weirder, richer, and more diverse.